my story is it started when I was 8 years old. And so I'm an introvert by nature, although I know how to be an extrovert when I need to be. But when I was 8 years old, I was this quiet, shy introvert. And I went to a Catholic primary school in the 60s. So we had the nuns. And one day, I remember this day, it was very different. We were in the school hall, my class, and the nun, the teacher who was a nun, she said to us, what we're going to do today, children, is have some fun. So that wasn't something that happened a lot with the nuns in a Catholic primary school in the 60s. So we was like, oh, this is different. And so she said, whoever would like to can get up on stage and entertain the rest of the class with a short story. So my friend and I looked at each other and our hands went up. Before we knew it, we were up on stage, we didn't know what we were going to do. We love Bugs Bunny. We love the Bugs Bunny show. So we quickly thought, okay, you'll be Elmer Fudd, who was the hunter, and I'll be Bugs Bunny. So he stayed out the front of the stage, pretending he was a hunter with a gun, and I ran behind the curtain. And then I stuck my head out from behind the curtain. He saw me, and he started chasing me. We started running around, falling over, just having fun. But then I stopped for a moment, and I noticed the whole class was rolling on the floor in laughter. And out of the corner of my eye, I even noticed a nun crack a smile. So you can imagine what that did to this young, shy introvert. I'm standing on the stage thinking, wow, this is pretty good. I like this. And I remember around the same time, around the same age, I used to go to church every Sunday, like a good little Catholic boy that I was. And I was sitting in the front of the church, and the priests in those days, they used to stand up in the pulpit, and there's this priest delivering this powerful sermon to the congregation. I'm sitting there thinking that's what he does for a job. He talks to people, and so I had this seed then that I thought, that's what I want to do when I grow up. I want to talk to people. I don't want to get a boring job in an office or something like that. And so those two things sparked this seed. But then I found, as I told, adults would ask me, oh, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I say, at first I thought I wanted to be a priest, but it was that whole thing of speaking. And I try to articulate that, and people would quickly tell me reasons why I couldn't do it. Because I was shy, because I was an introvert, because that people don't do that. You can't just talk to people for a living. So I heard a lot of negative things. As an 8-year-old, it doesn't take long. By the time I was 10, that dream, well, I was going to say it died, but it probably hadn't died, but a lot of layers had built up over it. The seed was still there. And so, I finished school, I got married, had kids, got a mortgage. I'm still married to the same woman, have great adult daughters. But, I spent 25 years in a job that I wasn't passionate about until I did, in my early 30s, in 1991, I did my first self-development program. And it was a 3-day intensive program. But within the first few hours, I saw the facilitator up the front of the room. There was about 150 people in the room, very powerful, doing his thing. And that seed came back, that spark was reignited, that's what I want to do. And that's where my journey started. I then started working on my limiting beliefs for the next 15 years, removing the layers, the barriers that were in the way, that had built up, until I got to the point about 7 years ago where I got confident enough to go out and start doing this. I was running workshops and doing those things part-time. So I've been working in the speaking industry for about 24 years. A lot of it was voluntary part-time, but about 7 years ago I started doing it professionally. And so that's my story, that's my journey.